You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, draft day is finally here, and I'm here to do my final mock draft with the one and only Isaiah Frey. How you doing, Isaiah?
Good. I'm good. How you been?
Doing good. It's been a long time since you hopped on the podcast. I was like, man, I need to get my guy on.
Been a minute, man. I'm excited to get back on, though.
Yeah, first and foremost, how are you feeling about the 2024 NFL draft? The Bears obviously pick at number 1 and number 9. They have 4 picks total. How you feel how the Bears are set up for the 2024 NFL draft?
Oh, it should help them a lot. I don't think we've talked since Justin has gotten traded.
Yeah.
I think, as everybody knows, I was against it. But it happened, I think it's a good situation for Justin. I think he can go over there and succeed in Pittsburgh, so I'm happy for him. But moving forward, it's Caleb Williams' time, and I think that's the era that's starting. And as always, man, I'm gonna be rooting for him. I think he can come in there and be successful early, especially with what Ryan Poles has brought around him so far without the draft. So I'm looking forward to him coming in and being successful early.
Right. So, Isaiah, are you sure you don't want J.J. McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, or Drake May? We're just going to say, nah, we're good. We got Caleb Williams now.
I'm sticking with Caleb, man. I mean, if there was somebody else that I would want rather than Caleb, it would probably be I'm a big Penix fan. I think he has the best arm in the draft, and I know nobody wants to talk about him, but it would be him. Him or Jaden McDaniels. Definitely not J.J. McCarthy. I'm not a fan. Not going to lie.
I do know I think J.J. McCarthy is from like the Chicago area, so I think that's why they were trying to make it into something. But I'm like, nah, we didn't do all this trading Justin Fields away for nothing, right? So,
that's hustling backwards.
Right, exactly. So, what Isaiah and I are going to do on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, we're going to use the PFF mock draft simulator. Sometimes it's very unpredictable, so I'll be the GM and you'll be the assistant GM, or you could be the GM and I'll be the assistant GM. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do our final mock draft as we near towards the first round of the 2024 NFL draft. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen right now. Obviously, we are picking as the Chicago Bears, and we're going to go ahead and start the 2024 NFL draft here on the mock draft simulator. So here we go. Isaiah, do we have any discrepancies right now? We're all in on Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft.
Give me Caleb, man.
Okay. And before I do this, because I'm not sure how you're feeling, we only have 4 picks. Are you an advocate for the Bears trading up from number 9, or do you want to see how the draft board falls?
I want to see how it falls. I'm not against it, but they do have limited picks.
Okay.
So I think just for the sake of, them not just, let's just pretend they could, but let's just pretend that they didn't and stay at 9.
So we're going to go ahead and pick Caleb Williams. We don't really need to look at the information. We all know that he has amazing arm talent, the ability to make any throw on the football field. He is going to be a good fit for the Chicago Bears, especially how they built the team around him. I think he's coming into the best situation any rookie quarterback has ever gone into. So here we go. Now we're going down the draft board. And this is like really a realistic scenario right now. We're now at pick number 9. I think this is where Ryan Poles is going to have a tough time. On the board right now, Isaiah, we have Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of Washington. We have Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. So obviously, what are we thinking here at number 9 if it ends up like this?
I could always be biased and go for my guy, Leatu Latu, who's not on there, who should be up there.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility.
Absolutely.
I think in a perfect world, I think my own personal preference, and it's a realistic thing. I like him to go there. I think that's a good situation for him. I think if we're picking off these 3 right here, I'm going Rome.
Okay.
Odunze. I think that's a perfect situation just because Keenan Allen's on a 1 year, right? He has 1 year left.
Yes.
Oh man, he comes in there as the number 3, learns from 2 guys that's been in the league that's been successful. He gets some good stuff. Who knows? Keenan may come back for a second, after this year. But just to be sure, I think it's good to have a rookie receiver who can pop the top and get it going with Caleb. So I'm going Rome.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with you. Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams actually took the same flight to Detroit. I'm not sure if you saw that. Tom Pelissero actually reported that Caleb Williams has already been training with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze was a part of those throwing sessions. So they're already creating that chemistry. I think at this point, it's destined to happen. Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams, going to Chicago together. And I think how I've been explaining this to Bears fans is, as much as I want to trade down and take Leatu Latu, I would love to have Latu. I consider him the best defensive player in this year's draft. I really do. Whoever gets him it's an absolute steal, especially out of the top 10, right? But how I look at this is, I think if Rome Odunze or any of those receivers are there at number 9,
yeah,
I think you have to go ahead and snatch them, because you don't know when the next time the Bears will be in the top 10 or have a situation like this ever again. Because once again, I keep saying it on multiple episodes right here on the podcast. If Caleb Williams is that guy, what people have been saying about him, that generational talent, the best prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck, the Bears won't be in the top 10 for a very, very long time. So I think Ryan Poles and the Bears have to take advantage of the situation. And if Rome Odunze is there and he falls to number 9, this would be an absolute steal for the Chicago Bears, in my opinion.
Most definitely. Just to play, be the alter ego to your argument. I totally agree with you. What I would say about the position of receiver is you could, potentially find some value at that position later on.
Absolutely.
Draft, because this is a strong position. And as you know, going back, 9-10 years, man, there's some guys that came out that second, third round that been
yeah.
I mean, even last year you had Puka, you know what I mean?
Right.
You do your research, you can find some guys that can dominate at the position. So, but yeah, Rome's a guy, man. I think like you said, you don't pass up on a dude like that, and that's a connection that Caleb can have for years.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one more point is that Rome Odunze is coming in as the wide receiver 3. He gets to learn behind Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, right? And there's not going to be a lot of added pressure on him.
Right.
And he has the ability to be a wide receiver 2 in his rookie year and a future number 1 in the league, right? And we can, obviously you see in the PFF mock draft simulator, there's 26 teams that are willing to trade up. And it may be because some of the quarterbacks fell. Maybe they're trying to trade up for Brock Bowers, right? So the Bears definitely have the opportunity to maybe trade back, take Leatu Latu, which to me is the best edge rusher in this draft, and still get a receiver in the second round. So you can still go that route. But I think when you have the opportunity to get 2 blue chip players in the top 10 that can help your football team win now, I just think you take the opportunity.
I agree.
So we're going to go ahead and draft Leatu Latu, and now we're going to pick number 75. So the Bears are skipping out on a second round pick, and now we're at pick number 75, which is in round 3. And looking at the board, we have a halfback in Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. We have a linebacker in Colson out of Michigan. Maybe Blake Fisher. The only thing about him is I believe he is a right tackle, so I'm not sure if that would be a good fit, obviously, with Darnell Wright. We have Trey Benson. Going down the board. We don't need a quarterback, receiver, a couple of receivers on the board. Just continue going down the board. We're just trying to find the best fit. Maybe we look into the edge rusher here. I know Austin Booker has been maybe a target for the Bears as well. Obviously, we highlighted 2 of the Chicago Bears need in the top 10, getting a quarterback and wide receiver. Now we're looking for maybe an edge rusher to go alongside Montez Sweat. So to really filter this out, Isaiah, we can actually go into here and we can go to the edge rushers real quick. And right now, these are the top edge rushers available, or we can maybe take a look at maybe trading down and getting some more draft picks for the 2024 NFL draft as well.
Right. I think at this point in the draft, what is this round? The round 3, right? They don't have a second.
Yeah, no second. We're straight into round 3 now.
Right. So I think they go, my personal opinion, I think they go O-line.
O-line, okay. I like that.
I think they go O-line.
We're talking about like a center, a tackle. What are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm thinking tackle.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
A young guy in there, man. It's always good to pair a young quarterback with a young offensive lineman so that they can kind of grow together. So, I can see that happening. But it's either O-line or DN for this third pick if it goes the way we think it's going to go.
Okay, so right now if we're looking at tackles, we have a guy like Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they produce a lot of good offensive linemen. So we can take a look at him really, really quick. When you look at the first look, he is 6'6", 312 pounds. So obviously you like the measurables there. You look at some of the pros of his game: wide base at the snap to get into the 3-point stance for run blocking, impactful combo duo blocker, would fit well in man gap scheme, strong player at the point of attack who can really displace and redirect defenders. So that's obviously really, really good. One thing I really want to look at is the stats. So he does have major experience at right tackle, which is kind of a concern to me because of Darnell Wright. We have our right tackle of the future, but he does in 2021 have a little bit of experience playing that left tackle position. So maybe you bring him in here. Maybe he can groom into something special as a left tackle for the Bears.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that both tackles are interchangeable. I think, I'm not sure who's the left tackle right now. Is it
Braxton Jones? Yeah,
Braxton Jones, who's solid, right?
Yeah.
But how many more years he has on his deal?
Man, I think he's still on his rookie contract, maybe a year or maybe two. So it's
Right.
definitely coming up to maybe consider an extension.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean, if you got Braxton and you got Darnell Wright to tackle, I mean, maybe you look at a guard. Maybe this maybe Blake's not the spot, but I mean, possibly it's a possibility that he could come. You never can have too many offensive linemen. I don't care what team you are. You always find a spot for some good guys that can play, man. So I mean, just at this point, I think you find the value at O-line. You roll from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of go into the interior offensive lineman as well to take a look in there. Obviously, Cooper Beebe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm a guard out of Kansas State. For some reason, I like offensive linemen out of Kansas State. You know what I mean? I feel like those are some tough son of a guns there. They produce good offensive linemen as well. We can take a look at his measurables as well. The first look at over Cooper, 6'4", 335. Definitely like that. High football IQ. Position versatility, which is really nice. We can look at the stats. Look at this. He's had experience playing left tackle, left guard, right guard, and right tackle. So he gives you versatility. And I think Ryan Poles has proven that he likes that position versatility, especially within his offensive lineman.
Definitely. That's the biggest thing in O-line, man. If you're able to play all five positions, maybe not center, but if you can play guard and tackle, man, you're a dude for sure.
And look at it in terms of protection, in 2 years, right? In 3 years at Kansas State, only allowed 2 sacks, right? And what looks like 6 quarterback hits, and pretty good on the hurries as well, quarterback hurries as well. So it seems like he's a solid guy that, when need be, he can be solid. And the thing that this would be kind of a surprising pick for the Bears, because obviously a lot of Bears fans love Tevin Jenkins, but the thing is, can he stay healthy?
Right.
Is the question. So I get your point, but if you're going to get a guy like Cooper, I think, or offensive lineman in general, you probably want to find a guy that has the position versatility.
Agreed. 100% agree. I like this pick right here. I'm not going to lie.
you kind of like it right here. I'm kind of feeling it too. And you know what's funny? I looked at a guy like this, but most of the time I go edge rusher in the 3rd round because I know we're desperately needing an edge rusher outside of Montez Sweat, but maybe you can bring back Unique Ngagwe on a 1-year contract and maybe focus on the edge rusher next year.
Right.
Because I do think the Chicago Bears have a lot of holes on their roster as well, still the 2, areas of need. And I think having a position versatility guard to come in would be huge.
100%. I agree.
Okay. I think GM Keek and GM Isaiah Frey are going to go with Cooper Beebe. I'm not sure how Bears fans are going to feel about this, but hey, they're not the ones doing this draft. So let's go ahead and do it. So here we go. We're going to move on to our final pick in round 4. And honestly, to be quite honest with you, when we get to these later rounds, I'm always a big advocate for getting the best player available on your board, right? Would this be a good spot to maybe look at maybe an edge rusher or a defensive lineman?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, DNs or edge rushers in the top 2 to 3 rounds are usually solid. Every year. When you get to that 4th round and on, it's kind of a crapshoot, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. I do like Gabriel Murphy though. I've seen him play just because I watch Latu all the time. He can play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a ball player, so I wouldn't be mad at that pick.
What about his game impresses you when you do watch him?
Oh, he's aggressive and he's quick. All those D linemen, man, they do a good job at UCLA. At coaching those D linemen, man. They get off the ball. They're good with their hands, and they just get after the quarterback, man. And as a D lineman, that's all you need, right?
Right.
You have that motor, and you have those good hands to kind of determine where you want to go off the block. Yeah, you'll be successful.
Right. When you look at his 2023 stats, very impressive, right? 8 sacks, 13 quarterback hits, 40 hurries. And, I'm a big advocate about when I'm looking at edge rushers, I don't always look at the sacks. I look, okay, he gets into the backfield, right?
Yep.
Those 40 quarterback hurries means that he's constantly in the backfield getting after the quarterback. So I do like that. I want to see the measurables as well. 6'3", 260. So obviously I think that would fit. Like the physical skill sets and the physical gifts are definitely there. I know Bears fans are big fans of Muhammad Kamara as well. Edge rusher out of Colorado State is also a very good, maybe fourth, especially in the fourth round, a good edge rusher as well. The one game I watched of his was actually against Colorado, and he was wreaking havoc on Colorado's offensive line, right? So he's also a player that I wouldn't mind picking here. Obviously, when you go into a guy like Muhammad, look at last season, exploded, and just look at the consistent production from him as well, right? 9 sacks in 2021, 6 sacks in 2022, 14 sacks in 2023, and look at constantly the hurries, especially in 2022 and 2023, constantly in the backfield. 6'1", 250. So obviously on the smaller side. Sure. So if you're looking for maybe a bigger physical guy, maybe you go with Gabriel Murphy, right? Maybe you're looking for a quicker guy. Maybe you go with Muhammad.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be successful. But me as a GM, if I was ever going to be a GM, I like my ends to be long and lengthy.
Yes.
Just for, you're going against guys who are 6'5" and up at tackle. You need to have that wingspan, man, to hand fight with them. So, if I had to pick, and I don't get me wrong, I think Kamara is going to be a good player. I'd probably go Gabriel just from measurables alone.
Yeah, and Ryan Poles and Eberflus, and obviously you were coached by Eberflus. He's all about measurables. Yes. Long, athletic guys, right? Measurables matter for head coach Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, because especially in this defense, man, you need 4 guys that can get after the quarterback. Team. And a lot of the times you get a lot of the plays made just because you got guys putting their hands up and knocking the ball down. You know what I mean? That's a big component of this defense and D-line play. So if we're in this situation right here, I would say they probably go Gabriel.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think the only thing that kind of concerns me is that right here, the one con, not an imposing athlete. Obviously Ryan Poles and Eberflus look for athletic guys, long athletic guys with measurables. But I feel like he could still complement Montez Sweat pretty well. Obviously, you still have Javon Dexter coming back in his second year, and I think he's going to be an imposing force on the interior defensive line as well. I think this would be a good pick because the Bears defense is already set up pretty well. He can come in and just be a compliment. The Chicago Bears can still bring back Unique Ngakwe as well. To complement them. And if it doesn't work out, maybe you can develop this guy into something special. You could still look into next year's NFL draft as well to add more edge production. But I feel like in the 4th round, this would be a home run pick for the Bears, Isaiah.
Yeah, that's good value.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pick Gabriel Murphy, edge rusher out of UCLA. And Isaiah Frey and I decided to go straight up and just pick the 4 best players, which to me is very solid. It could very well. Ryan Poles made it very clear, Isaiah, that he is totally fine with the 4 picks that he has. So here we go. Here's the grades that we got. So obviously we got an A+, A+ for Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Cooper Beebe, PFF Mock Draft Simulator. Did not like that pick. They gave us a D. And for Gabriel Murphy, they gave us a C for a total grade, overall grade of an A. They even said in the PFF Mock Draft Simulator, it says, great job. That's a good looking draft. So overall, I think because we got 2 blue chip players in round 1. I think to me, that's all that matters. You have to nail round 1 of the NFL draft and then just take the 2 best players available in the round 3 and round 4.
Definitely. I agree. The question I have for you, I'm not too familiar. What is their cap space looking like for this year?
So right now they actually put some money away for their draft selections. I think prior to the NFL draft, I think they were around 14, 15, 16 million dollars. But they did put some money aside in order to pay their draft picks. Obviously, you have 2 first-round picks that you got to pay pretty hefty money to, right? Especially the number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams. They probably want a pretty big contract for being the quarterback and being this generational prospect, right? So
definitely.
I don't know if that means they're going to bring back Unique Ngakwe on a cheap contract. Maybe there's some other edge rushing options that they can come and help. I think the one thing I can say, Isaiah, that Bears fans may not like about this mock draft is the fact that we didn't address the edge rusher early, and then we took a guard over a tackle. But to me, Braxton Jones is perfectly fine.
He is. And what I actually wrote down, what I think they could do, and I actually like, I actually like them picking Latu at 9. And then in the third round, I like them getting Polk from Washington.
Nice.
And he can play.
Yeah.
So you just gotta, you can cut the pie, slice the pie, 100 different ways, man, and you can get some good stuff. So it all determines on what other teams do and what Poles is looking at.
Right. And I truly think that if all the receivers are off the board, and I truly feel this way, I feel like Leatu Latu becomes a really strong option for the Bears as long as all the receivers are off the board.
Yeah.
I truly feel like Leatu Latu alongside Montez Sweat would be absolutely nasty for this Bears defensive line. And I do want to ask you guys, does that mean it's a confirmation here that if he becomes a Bear, that he can come on the podcast, or what's going on with that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He'll do that. Yeah. Man, I'll say this to Bears fan, man. If we're able to get him, that dude loves football. I think that is the biggest trait you can have as a football player. He loves the game. If you know his story, he got medically retired after his freshman year and thought it was over for him. Didn't give up. Went and got a second opinion and got approved. And he's not taking this for granted at all. And that dude has a motor like I've never seen in my life, ever since high school. So if they're able to land him, man, that's going to be a special dude, special player for the Bears, definitely.
The fact that he was able to go through that and then come back and rebound the way that he did, right? Having 12 sacks in 2022 and then following it up with 15 sacks. He was the most productive edge rusher in college football the last 2 years. Yep. It's not even about the sacks. It's about the consistent pressure that he puts on offensive line and the consistent pressure he gets on the quarterback as well. And I just think he's never had a teammate like Montez Sweat, right, to pair up with, right? So it's one of those things. And you obviously we drafted Gabriel Murphy. There's no disrespect to Gabriel Murphy, but
he can play, yeah.
Right. But Montez Sweat is on a different level, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that this would be a special duo, and I wouldn't be mad at that whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it, man. I'm being selfish right now. So
me too. I am. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being a little selfish too, because I know I have a little connection to him now. So I'm like, hey, come on the show. Let's talk about Bears football for sure. But Isaiah, thank you so much. I feel like we did nail our final 2024 Chicago Bears mock draft. I think we got some huge areas of need in our quarterback, wide receiver, adding a very versatile offensive line, and an edge rusher for the Chicago Bears that can help the Bears win right away. The Bears are not far off from competing with the NFC North and maybe hopefully making the playoffs as soon as next year. But I do want to ask you, what is your favorite pick out of the 4 that we did on this final mock draft?
It's got to be Caleb, man. It's got to be Caleb. I mean, everybody here knows I'm big Justin Fields fan. I'm rooting for him, man. I think he's going to be still a hell of a player, even, after he has to sit out half the season this year, and then he'll probably get in, after they don't have to get that compensatory pickup. But I think it's Caleb, man. I think, anytime you get a Heisman winner that come in and he's the number 1 pick, there's high expectations for him. I would hope that, the fans, we don't put too much pressure on him and allow him just to play his game. There's always a developmental process with every rookie that comes in the league because the game's faster. You're learning these different nuances of the game and you're trying to understand what's coming, what the pre-snap read is. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you're looking at as a young guy. So just give him time, and I trust the process, and I think he'll be successful in the end.
And Isaiah, before we start this new era of Chicago Bears football, before we begin the Caleb Williams era, what is your message to Bears fans?
Be excited, man. I think be positive and be excited, because this can go one or two ways, and I won't speak of it.
Right.
But I'm being very optimistic right now, and I'm serious in how I'm thinking. I think Ryan Poles did a great job this offseason.
Right.
And I think Caleb's coming in to be set up for success. So just be optimistic about the season, and I think we'll have a very good year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You said everything that I'm thinking. Isaiah, once again, thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, you are a friend to the show. We absolutely love having you on every single time. Isaiah may stop by for a little bit on our live stream tomorrow as we react to Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick for the Chicago Bears, and then obviously number 9 is a mystery. Hopefully, it's your guy Latu. I think we will both be super excited. He may actually hop off the live stream to go call his guy, if that's the case.
Oh, he'll be too busy. He's going. He'll be there tomorrow. He's walking.
Nice.
Yeah, so I probably won't get to talk to him for a day or two. So
would that cheer you up a little bit?
Oh, 100%, man. It just the stuff we I've been through with that guy, just coaching him, for 3 years in high school, and just to see where he's at now, man. I'll never forget him walking up the steps, and they have my picture up there because I was drafted. And him messing around one time. He's like, one day I'm going to get up there and they're going to take your picture down. They're going to put my picture up. And we just laughed about it. But I just remember that now. He's about to be a first-round draft pick, man. It's great to see.
It's definitely a full circle moment for you. And obviously, if he gets drafted, you can tell him about the city of Chicago and how much the fans love their Chicago Bears as well and the history of it.
Definitely. Yep.
But Isaiah, as always, to you, thank you so much, and bear down to you.
Bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.